Good morning, everybody. Welcome back for an installment of Scott Selections here for Friday, June 11th. Before we get into today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a loss in baseball with the Astros on the money line at minus 106 on DraftKings. Astros scored 8 runs with Greinke on the mound. Usually that's pretty good. They were also up 3 runs in the fifth, and then everything fell apart. The bullpen came in for Houston and blew the game. Red Sox outscored the Astros 8-1 the rest of the way and ended up winning the game 12-8. But I still like the value on there. Greinke, who had been great leading up to that start, struggled, and Houston's bullpen unfortunately blew a 3-run lead. But look for a bounce back winner here on Friday. And for the play of the day, we're going to be looking at basketball. It's going to be on the late game between the Suns and the Nuggets. And the play of the day is going to be on the Suns +2 at minus 114 on DraftKings. The time recording of 2:30 a.m. Eastern Time. A couple reasons why I like the Suns in this spot. First of all, looking at the series up to this point, it has been one-way traffic for the Suns, and Denver has really offered no resistance. The Suns have won each of the first 2 games in the series by at least 17 points. You look at the disparity offensively and defensively for this matchup. The Suns are averaging 122.5 points per game in the series. Meanwhile, Denver's barely cracking 100. Denver is averaging just 101.5 points per game. The main reason why you see Denver struggling offensively is the fact that besides Jokic, nobody has really done anything in this series. Of course, the second best offensive player based on talent, with Murray being out, is Porter Jr., and he has been dealing with a bit of a back injury, which has caused him to struggle with his shot in the series. He was better in Game 2, still only had 15 points, but he is shooting just 34.7% from the floor in the series. You go through the rest of the lineup without Murray, and this team just doesn't really have much scoring depth. I mean, you can go down the line. Campazzo's playing decent minutes. You're giving Aaron Gordon decent minutes, who hasn't really been that great offensively in the playoffs. Just Millsap off the bench. You're going to throw in Austin Rivers as your X factor. They just don't have many guys. And you look at Phoenix in comparison, all 5 starters for Phoenix have scored at least 10 points in each of the first 2 games. So the whole starting 5 for the Suns have been getting buckets against this Denver starting 5. And I just think that the Suns have a little bit too much scoring depth to, I'd say, enough for them to overwhelm Denver in this spot. Now, I do think Denver will get off to a pretty decent start at home with the altitude, but you saw Denver also lose the first home game in the series against Portland, so I'm not going to immediately chalk up the altitude and just give the game to Denver. Phoenix is the much better team. You can tell from the get-go, especially with Denver being less than 100%, with Murray being out, and with Porter Jr. being less than 100%. Plus, the one injury concern for the Suns going into the series was Chris Paul, because everyone knows that he had the shoulder issue against the Lakers, but he has looked phenomenal in this series. He had 15 assists last game, double-doubles in each of the first 2 games. He's only committed 1 turnover in the first 2 games combined, and you see the Nuggets trying to throw Campazzo at him. They're trying to throw Austin Rivers at him, Monte Morris at him, and nobody can guard him. Paul's been dominating these games, especially late in the fourth quarter in crunch time. And you also know Chris Paul is a very, very good leader. I think he'll do a pretty good job of making sure the Suns don't blow games late, as you can look at the Suns' clutch rating all season long, and they were very good in the fourth quarter. I just think Denver is a pretty good basketball team, but Phoenix looks really, really good, and I just think Denver's not in the same league. So, and there's a good chance the Suns will win this game, but I do think if Denver pulls it out, it should be a one-possession game. So I'm going to take the 2 at minus 114 on DraftKings as the play of the day. But once again, just repeat it for the people in the back, the play of the day here for Friday, June 11th is going to be on the Suns +2 at minus 114 on DraftKings. Bye, everyone.